to, Brian.
And we continue our Newsmaker Hour now with the St. James Hospital CEO, Bryan Donovan. Bryan, thank you for calling in.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Bryan Donovan, start out with a question that the last question that I had for Sean Hogan. U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrands is having a Zoom conference tonight at 6:30 with nurses from around New York State. I don't know. Do you know anything about what this is going to be about? Presumably it's COVID-19 related.
So actually, we had a rural healthcare roundtable with Senator Gillibrands last Friday morning. All of the CEOs in New York State, and Senator Gillibrands was more or less asking, what are some of the issues that may not be bubbling up to the surface that the hospitals are having, whether, it's PPE, financial, or whatever. So we had an hour with Senator Gillibrands, and we were able to bring up some of the challenges that we're facing that she may not be aware of. So, I could speculate that maybe they're doing the exact same for our extremely important nurses throughout New York State.
How are things at St. James these days, Bryan Donovan?
Things are going really well. Again, hats off to my team here, my medical staff, as well as our nurses and all our support staff. We're definitely getting much busier. But again, as we've talked previously, Brian, it's really this healthcare redesign. We're getting very creative in making sure that we're social distancing and we're universal masking and all these extremely important precautionary procedures that we need to take place to keep our staff and our patients safe. But also, we're looking at extending hours and potential Saturday hours. So we've got a lot going on, but our programs are getting very busy, and certainly our ORs and EDs are getting back up to higher volumes, which is good to see.
I see that yesterday you put out a statement that you're welcoming a new ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor. Tell us about that, Bryan Donovan.
Sure. So Dr. Ramakoglu is coming from the university. We are working and collaborating with our affiliate, Jones Memorial Hospital, with this physician. So we're excited to be able to work with Jones in this capacity and offering this ENT service. Previously, Brian, we've had a PA who's done a fantastic job for ENT in Hornell, but as PAs do have some limitations. So this ENT physician will be able to do cases here, and I know that's a need that I've been hearing from the community since I arrived. So we've been really focused on Jones and James on getting a great ENT to be able to take care of this community.
Yesterday afternoon also, we got a press release from Congressman Tom Reed. It says that key health networks and hospitals across the region are joining the Western, Finger Lakes, and Southern Tier New York Healthcare Network and Hospital Pledge. And it's kind of a lengthy press release, but I think summing it up, from what I can understand, it looks like you'll be working together on numerous COVID issues. Does that include lab results?
So it could include lab results. So with Congressman Reed, so we have signed off. The University of Rochester, obviously, we're all affiliated in the Southern Tier, Noyes, Jones, and St. James, as well as Thompson on our east. So we are in that. We have signed off on that agreement with Tom Reed. I think really, Brian, what I look at this as is collaboration between hospitals from the Buffalo area all the way down to the Binghamton and Canandaigua area and up north as well, of when we really look at this. And certainly we have different systems, but if there is a need specific to PPE or other things that one hospital has that may not be an affiliate of the University of Rochester, that we're all working together in terms of be able to treat these COVID-19 patients, as well as be able to work in sync to try to get the region back open and sustainably back open so we can move on to phase 2, 3, and 4.
COVID-19 cases coming down greatly. Yesterday we got a press release, and it said that there was a case over in Avoca, and obviously we're sorry to hear that. But, and how do I say that diplomatically? It is good news that Hornell is not getting reports of half a dozen or a dozen. One day we had, 43 new cases, I mean, in the Hornell area, just in one day. So, I mean, it's really nice for the Hornell area to have this be calming down for the Canisteo Valley region.
Yeah, that month and a half, as we all know, was really Hornell was the epicenter. Hornell, Hornellsville, North Hornell, and Canisteo. And so over the last 5 days, I can speak for St. James. We have done 98 COVID tests. We have had 0 positives. That is extremely encouraging. To your point, that at one point, we were having, there was a few weeks or a few days that we would do, 25 tests or 30 tests, and you'd have 15 come back positive, a 40, 50% positive ratio. And so I'm really encouraged. And again, hats off to this community. We've obviously gone through a lot, but, we continue to social distance coming into this warm weather. We will use common sense and universal masking, and we'll continue to see some progress and hopefully get on to phase 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, we've been speaking with St. James CEO Bryan Donovan. Bryan, down to the last 60 seconds or so, any final thoughts or anything that I did not bring up that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so. Again, always hats off to my team. I can't say it enough. And as I've said before, thanks to all the community that has donated, from masks to hand sanitizer to lunches and all these things. We sincerely appreciate all the donations, especially a month ago, going through some really long hours and some challenging times. To know that the community was right beside us, shoulder to shoulder, within the 6 feet, of course, was very reassuring. So I wish everyone to have a wonderful long weekend.
And I'll throw in a PS question. I asked this last week. It just occurred to me. I asked this last week and was very interested in your answer. So I did have one other question I wanted to ask you before I let you go, Bryan Donovan, St. James of CEO. The ER and the OR, the emergency room and the operating room, with the COVID calming down, how are things in those two departments?
Getting much busier, Brian. With the OR, we talk about healthcare redesign, and so our OR, all of our patients in our OR are doing COVID-19 testing. So there's a little bit more logistics than there normally would be, but every patient's getting tested, and our OR, Dr. Mayer, and our team there are doing a great job. Our volumes are significantly increasing since April 28th to be able to do elective surgeries and cases. Our ED is definitely getting busier as well, and we're still seeing, obviously, because it is an emergency department, acute cases, but we're also seeing patients that are coming in and getting ahead of what could be very challenging health considerations, and so we're able to treat some of these patients before it becomes a real problem, and that's exactly what we're here to do.
Bryan Donovan, always good having you on.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
It's AM 1480, WLEA Hornell.